All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Rocky Top Insider postgame show. This is Ryan Schumpert. I'm Rick Butler, standing here in Rupp Arena as Tennessee advances to their third straight Sweet 16 with a 67-58 win over UCLA right here in Rupp Arena. Ryan, I'll go to you first. It's late right now. It's 1:30 in the morning, so it's been a little while since the game ended, but what are you sitting here thinking about as Tennessee gets ready to play in Indianapolis next weekend?
Well, I guess I'll start with the broad strokes, and that's that Tennessee is going to Sweet 16 for a third straight season. It's the first time in program history they've made the second weekend of the tournament 3 consecutive years. Now 4 of 11 Sweet 16 appearances in program history under Rick Barnes. So that's kind of the headlines, I guess. And for a NCAA tournament game, not in the opening round against a team you're drastically seeded higher than Tennessee, did it about as drama-free as could be. They used a big run to end the first half to really take control of the game, and then they came out super hot in the second half. I think they pushed the lead to as many as 20 points, at least 18, before a very sloppy 5-6 minutes of the game that I think kept Rick Barnes from enjoying the win as much as he might have otherwise. But just a good night for Tennessee basketball, and they're playing one more week as they head to Indianapolis.
And that's the name of the game. This time of year, you survive in advance. I like what you said there because I agree. Tennessee and UCLA, you could tell we're battling there in the first couple of minutes. They were both trying to sort of assert their will and style on the game. That's how the game started, but Tennessee used that middle 10 minutes, which, as you said, is normally maybe used reserved for football, but Tennessee used that middle 10 minutes of the 40-minute stretch to really sort of find their groove, to start hitting some three-pointers, and really kind of create a lead. Now, as you mentioned, Tennessee's lead did dwindle a little bit, but they were able to kind of hold the Bruins at arm's length away. And I think that's what you need at this time of year, man. You need somebody who, you need people, you need a team who can go into the halftime break and decide, hey, we feel like we're executing here, here, and here, but we need to keep pushing it here, here, and here. Tennessee was able to do that with a big second half opening to start at the second half. Yeah,
and I'll even go back to the first half. I think Tennessee kind of changed the game when they went to the 1-2-2 press that they really don't run a whole lot. Zakai Ziegler told me in the locker room post game that it was his idea to go to, and he mentioned that to Coach Gainey, Justin Gainey. Rod Clark's talked about it with UCLA. They got a lot of guards, but not really any true point guards. And Sky Clark, who's probably their truest point guard, was on the bench with 2 fouls. And they said, let's just do a little something to throw the pace off and challenge their guards. And I thought that was huge. Tennessee, the first half especially, it was difficult to score for either team. Tennessee got some easy buckets off of steals out of that press, and then the big one, Chaz Lanier and one in the first half that put Tennessee up by 7.
Talk about Chaz Lanier, the Nashville native, set the Tennessee program all-time single-season three-point record. He passed Chris Lofton to do so. He said after the game that he hadn't talked to Chris Lofton yet, but he was certainly anticipating it. Ryan, I'd sit here after this game with sort of some of the similar thoughts I had after the Wofford win, is that, hey, Tennessee's going to rely on their 3 senior guards to get things done. Those 3 guys combined for 48 points tonight for Tennessee, and that's how they're going to get things. Now we'll talk about the front court here in a minute with the big guys and sort of what Tennessee wants them to do. But you can tell that this is a team that's going to rely on their guards. They're going to rely on the shooting ability, and they have a lot of leadership qualities to go at that instead of just a good shot here and there.
Yeah, I mean that group's going to drive the bus, and I think with Chaz, just an incredible accomplishment, especially for a guy that's adjusting to this level, playing at it for the first time. And I think, it's easy. I've probably been guilty of this too. Chaz had his struggles in SEC play as he's making his adjustment. I mean, he's broke out of that, and we've talked about that. We've written about it, but just how good all this rambling is just to say how good Chaz Lanier has been for Tennessee. And if you would have looked when Tennessee landed Chaz Lanier in the transfer portal and said, this is what you get from Chaz Lanier, it would have been, I think, probably 2 Tennessee's wildest dreams, or what they wanted the most, more than what they expected. And first week in the NCAA tournament, he goes for 20 twice. He hits 4 3-pointers a day. And I think that's just something Tennessee in a lot of these round of 32 games, certainly last year, certainly lost to Michigan a few years ago, shot the ball really poorly from the 3-point range in this round. They shot it really well tonight. I mean, that's kind of how they broke the game open. Chaz Lanier hit 4 of them. Sky Ziegler hit 2 of them. Jemai Mashak hit 2 of them. Jordan Gainey hit 2. Like to your point, the backcourt, those guys made some big plays for Tennessee, and were the reason produced most of Tennessee's offense, I should say.
You wrote about the front court a little bit in your 3 takeaways article, which, by the way, is over on RockyTopInsider.com. What did you think of Tennessee's big men? I know we just talked about the guards and the 48 points that they had, but what did you think about how Tennessee's big men affected the game here today?
Yeah, I mean, I think anything Tennessee gets from their big men offensively, you need some, but for the most part, man, that's just gravy. Especially in a game like let the backcourt
Yeah.
propel the offense and get those guys to rebound the ball well and play good defense, and that's what they got. Igor, who has been struggling to rebound, grabbed 7. Felix grabbed 7, 6 from Cade Phillips. Those guys I thought were really good on the boards. Tennessee won on the glass for the first time, and it felt like a minute they won on the glass in this game. And then I think equally as important, Bilodeau and Mara for UCLA, 2 talented big men scorers. They gave Tennessee issues. It felt like Tennessee wore down on them, and I thought talking to some guys in the locker room, they said, we felt like we played good defense early. They just made tough shots.
Yep.
Tennessee did a good job of not overreacting. They kind of stuck to the course, stuck to the plan. Mara only plays about 12 minutes a game. His role has gone up. I think he got tired as the game went on. He wasn't used to battling with that physicality and playing 20-plus minutes like he did tonight. And in the end, after those guys started really hot, Tennessee's front court did a great job to stifle them on just what was a great night for Tennessee's defense as a whole.
Real quick before I wrap this thing up, what were the 3 rebounding numbers you mentioned? 7, 7, and 5?
7, 7, and 6. So they had 20 total.
So
it's the 3 main guys in the front court.
Those were the exact 3 stats that Rick Barnes also mentioned in his press conference. And he said a lot of what you said right there. Hey, look, when we can get something from our bigs, we need that. When there's something low, down low for them to attack, we need that. But also, it sounds like what the coaching staff has been preaching to this team in the last couple of days is just rebounding, being able to be physical on the glass, being able to set up the guards to have their shots on the outside. And so with that, Tennessee's bigs are saying, hey, we need you to go get rebounds. We need you to go control the middle of the paint. And so I definitely think that is what Tennessee's looking for, and that's as much as Rick Barnes said after the game.
Yeah, for sure. And Rod Clark said to me in the post-game locker room that they showed Igor and Felix some clips from earlier in the season just when they were at their best rebound and the emotion they rebounded with, and said they needed to get back to that, and they did a great job of it tonight.
Again, Tennessee picks up a win over UCLA here today, score of 67-58. Tennessee advances to the Sweet 16 next week. Yes, next week in Indianapolis, we'll take on the winner of 3-seed Kentucky and 6-seed Illinois coming up on Saturday. But a 2-0 weekend here for Tennessee, a first win over Wofford, then a win over to UCLA to advance to the next weekend. Any other just kind of final wrap-up thoughts on the weekend before you get to stuff you're going to write about, maybe something we missed yesterday, but any kind of final wrap-up thoughts as we get ready to leave here at about 1:45 in the morning?
No, I think we've hit on everything from the game. I'd just say it's been outside looking, looking inside, looking out a little bit more now. It's been chalk to this point in the Midwest region. Houston wins a good game against Gonzaga. Purdue dominated High Point earlier today. So 1 and 4 seed in the Sweet 16 already. And as you said, Illinois, Kentucky tomorrow evening up in Milwaukee. So we'll see who Tennessee gets. Obviously, 2 teams they have played this year. Kentucky beat them twice, beat them in this very building. And then Tennessee won at Illinois. So Illinois playing really well. I think that's probably, to me, even if it's outside, obviously we got a vested interest in it because Tennessee gets the winner. Outside of all that, that's the game I'd be most looking forward to tomorrow. I think it's going to be a really good one.
It's going to be a good day tomorrow, and it has been a good week here. Thank you so much for everybody who has followed along with our coverage. Obviously, it's not stopping here, and it is only going to continue next week into Indianapolis. But as always, go ahead and check out our stuff over at RockyTopInsider.com. Also, make sure it's one of the best times of the year to subscribe to the Rocky Top Insider YouTube account. If you're watching this right now on YouTube, it should be easy to go ahead and hit that button. So if you do that, you won't miss any sort of Tennessee news, notes, and coverage coming out with Tennessee men's and women's going through the NCAA tournament right now. And when we get back to Knoxville tomorrow, we got little spring practice for football coming up on Tuesday. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you're locked in. Otherwise, we're going to keep the content coming for you. This is Ryan Schumpert. I'm Rick Butler. Thank you for listening to the Rocky Top Insider postgame show. Again, Tennessee advances to their 3rd straight Sweet 16 with a win over UCLA here on Saturday night in Rupp Arena.